If your database is small like mine, it's pretty easy to do a cross-reference. For example, I have a bunch of part numbers that I look up by year and by model. So if you gave me the year, let's say 2002, model number 250, I can easily spot it right there. But you can imagine if I had hundreds of columns or thousands of rows that lookup can be very annoying. So instead, I'll get help from Excel by using one of its two lookup functions, either the horizontal lookup or the vertical lookup. The difference between the two, well, when it comes to looking up data within our database here, the horizontal lookup starts off by looking in the topmost row, the vertical lookup in the leftmost column. Which one do I use? Well, that depends. Are you looking in the leftmost column or the topmost row? For example, down below I want to look up the model number 200. Well, is that found in the leftmost column or the topmost row? Well, the leftmost column. So what I'm going to do is come down here and let's insert the vertical lookup function equals v and then type in the first couple letters. There it is. It looks for a value in the leftmost column of the table and then returns a value in the same row from a column you specify. So the value in the leftmost column, it finds it here in the same row from a column. Which column? This one right here that I specify. Okay, let's go ahead and hit the tab key and pop open the function so we can get down to the arguments here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Right now I'm only concerned by looking at the first three. What do I want to look up? Well, I want to look up the model number 200. I can either type it in here or just select the cell that contains it, comma. Next it asks what table are we going to look this up in? Well, let me go ahead and select the table. Now when you select the table, not only get the data, but be sure to get the column labels and the row labels, okay? And then comma, and then it says, okay, what column do you want to have this cross-referenced with? So it's got the row, which is 200. What column? Is it the first, second, third, fourth? Let's say it's column number 5, the year 2004. I know what you're thinking. Why can't I just type in the label here? It's actually asking for the column number, and so the column number, when you start from left to right, including the far left column, again it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and type it in, hit enter, and there it is. Let's see, 200, column 5, there we go. Now again, I typed in what I was looking up in this cell. That way, if I need to go ahead and change that and say look up 300, hit enter, automatically finds that part number, but for what column? The same column. It's going to be column number 5, 2004. So maybe I ought to come in here, double click, and say it's looking up the part number, 2004. Hit enter. Now, two things you should know. When it comes to looking up the model number, vertical lookup not only looks up to find the exact match, but it looks at it as either equal to or greater than. So, if I accidentally type in 301, it still gives me the part number because it's looking at equal to or greater than. Well, what's greater than 300? 301, it still considers looking in the same row. Until I get to 350, even if I come up to 349, it's still the same part number, but if I go to 350 or 351 for that matter, it still looks up the same row, 350. So there's 350 for 2004, okay? So anything equal to or greater than. Now, if you want to eliminate that variable where it has to have an exact match, then you need to go back into your lookup function, double click, get in there, come to the end. See, this is the third argument. Let's hit the comma to go to the fourth argument, and it says, okay, do you need an approximate match, greater than or equal to, or an exact match? If you need an exact match, then you can type in the word false or just down arrow, hit the tab key, hit enter, and there you go. So 351, is it an exact match here when it looks it up in the leftmost column? Nope. So it gives me not applicable. So if I go ahead and type something that's exact like 350, hit enter, then it returns that part number. So that way I can do my check and balances. If the model number isn't in the database, then it doesn't do something that's close to it, greater than or equal to. I have to have an exact match. The second thing is that when it comes to vertical lookup, it doesn't have to be a number. For example, if I come over here and let's say the model is a color instead, like blue, hit enter. And what do I want to look up? Well, look up the text blue, hit enter, automatically updates. So let's see, 2004, the year, and the row is blue. There you go. Now if I come in here and I double click and I get rid of this last argument where it has to be an exact match, delete it, hit enter, it doesn't matter. When it comes to text, there's nothing greater than or equal to, it's always going to be equal to. So you can use the vertical lookup for numbers or text. I'm going to go ahead and hit undo a couple of times and get rid of that. And then finally, if I want to be able to look up part numbers for the same model but for different years, you may want to consider copying and pasting that formula down as many times as you need to go. For example, let's say I want to go to the year 2005, 2006, all for the same part number, but just different years. So once I copy and paste the formula, obviously I need to go in because it says it's not applicable, and update it, double click to go in the function, and you'll notice that when I go ahead and copy and paste it, because there are no absolute values or constants with the original vertical lookup formula or function, it's shifting everything down. It's being copied. So if I copy down one row, it takes the table and goes down one row, takes what it was looking up, the model, and goes down one row. So what I need to do if I'm going to do that is hit the escape key, come back in here and double click, and make sure that the table doesn't update or move down or shift down, and neither does the model number that I'm looking up. And as you recall, when it comes to adding absolutes or constants, go ahead and click in front of the cell that you want to stay constant and not be updated as we copy and paste the formula. So I'll go ahead and hit the F4 key to add the absolute values, the constants or the dollar signs for this cell, and then also for the table, hit F4 in front of A4 and the end cell, J15, F4. Go ahead and hit enter. Then go ahead and hover over the lower right hand corner, get the black cross, click and drag that down, and we're halfway there. At least now it's not giving us not applicable. So if I double click in that cell, it's staying there. It's not updating and shifting down one row as I copied and pasted it down below the row. The only other thing I need to do is to go, well, what column is the year 2005 in? Well, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's go ahead and change it from 5 to 6, hit enter, and this is going to be, well, 7. So that way, if anybody gives me the model number, like 300, I've got all the years right here. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.